That's fine.
It's recording.
It's not repairing the black light. Feel free to
Yeah.
I don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
Volume.
This is luxury. Yeah, I want to go back to those flowers. We'll probably take a few more. I've spotted them on the side there.
I'll put a couple down there for some lucky lady.
Whichever lady says the right thing.
The volume is beautiful.
I think so.
Oh, you want this one?
Should be okay.
I normally stay on the same thing.
You want.
Otherwise, cut. Don't have to be one shot, you know.
No, I know.
There we go.
Yes, no,
Can you hear me? Hello. Yeah. So do you want check out my shoes.
Good morning all and welcome to the Royal Adelaide Show on this glorious day today. We are all here representing STEMSEL Foundation Australia, and we're just here to share a little bit about STEMSEL and why we embrace STEMSEL into young children of today. And Fernando, would you like to share a little bit about why you become a supporter of STEMSEL Foundation?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks, Brenton. A little bit confusing being here in an Air Force uniform, but it's part of the story. Back in 2010, I was manning the Air Force Cadet Stand, which is what I do one night a week when I'm not wearing the uniform all day. And whilst I was doing that, I wandered around the Adelaide Showgrounds and I found an Engineers Australia sticker lying on the carpet. And I was quite excited about that. Being an engineer, I wanted to know where the presence was at the showgrounds. What I found was an entire exhibit where kids were engaging in building robotic solutions and automated solutions for big problems. These are kids in the single-digit age brackets who were thinking about poverty, about environment, about social deficiencies that needed fixing. And they were creating solutions out of automation, out of programming this stuff. I got really excited being an engineer and being a big believer in STEM, science, technology, engineering, maths. What we see here is an acronym that's been extended. It goes into STEMSEL, which means we're doing STEM, social enterprise learning. So the teams who are now doing this aren't just doing science, technology, engineering, maths. They're turning that into solutions for social solutions, which is pretty powerful stuff when you imagine these kids doing it from such a tender age. So I can't help but be involved and supportive of this arrangement right here. And as you can see, the idea just catches on. We've got a growing group of directors and supporters, and that's probably enough from me, but that's why I'm here and why I'm such a proud proponent of the whole STEMSEL idea.
Thank you. Nicola?
Nkandu, yes.
Yeah, Nkandu. Would you like to share your experience, your personal experience, and how it come to writing the book and also including the STEMSEL fundamentals within your book as to how come you became a supporter of STEMSEL?
Okay, so I was introduced to STEMSEL a couple of years ago. I came to Adelaide as a representative for the United Nations Association of Western Australia. And after I did my talking, I had Vasmila came over and said, I would like you to meet Peng, and he's running this STEMSEL foundation. So I was a bit skeptical about it at first, and he spoke to me about it for a long time, and then Peng came over and we had a chat, and then I also went to his office and had a look at what he was doing. I was really inspired by what the children were actually doing, and how the STEMSEL project itself helps in solving social issues, and then as well as giving young people something productive to do. So that's where it came from, and then putting it in my book. I've been a social change maker myself from a very young age, and I found that everybody needs a bit of inspiration, and the stories of Basmila and Hugh and a lot of other kids in the program are very, very inspiring, and as adults we have so much to learn from them.
Is the book on sale here at the Royal Adelaide Show?
Yes, it is. So if you come to the Technology Centre, you can have it signed and take some selfies and be in the draw to win I Have the Power t-shirts. This book is a self-published book, and we're hoping that we go into producing more books for next year. Yeah.
Thank you. Jerry, what inspired you to become a good supporter of the STEMSEL Foundation, and where do you think the STEMSEL Foundation is going to go into the future for the young generation?
STEMSEL is a very magical word which is known already a long time.
Hold it closer.
You want to swap?
Hello? Yeah. STEMSEL is a well-known name, especially in the medical community, which is actually a kind of a cell in a human body which can adapt itself to many different organs. I can see a great analogy of the medical stem cells with the engineering or the stem cells of the nature that we are now working on, engineering technology and all those entrepreneurial activities, which is very much similar to bring a life to a dead body. If there is a sickness of liver, and you can put there a stem cell, it can replace the old dead body stem cells with the liver cells. So I would say that starting a very high technology companies, myself as a founder of those companies all around the world in UK and US, specialized in the light, specialized in the analyzing the light, using the light, which is actually the actual means of developing the technology in 21st century. So I said, if the major starting of this young generation looking at these microprocessors, microchip, which is a part of our daily life, these microchips, learning about microchips will be actually a very good start for bringing the whole technological advancements into the public, starting with the young generation. We all know that there are so many young people using iPhones, and I also know that they think that these iPhones are granted to them with $500. In fact, the whole idea is that if they didn't learn anything about when in 1950s and how the transistors started, how the integrated circuits started, then I think that they would be thinking about not only what they are doing with their iPhones today, but what they could do in next 5 or 10 years' time. So I would urge probably the government authorities to fund this movement of stem cell all around the world, in the sense that they would be more like having funds to stand on their legs and then to expand it to the whole country.
Yeah, no, I've done it also.
I wouldn't say more than that at the moment, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much, Derek. I have a question for an intern that's currently here doing his internship with STEMSEL, and just a few questions. How do you find your internship with STEMSEL is benefiting you as a person to grow in life?
So first of all, when I first attended the workshops for the young students, the first thing I noticed is they are actually doing what I did in my university when I was in my second year. So if you compare what I did with what they are doing when they are 11 years old, that's a major thing, because they are only 11 years old, and when they go up to college, when they go up to university, they will be way ahead of everyone, and I feel like that's a very encouraging thing for me to be their mentors, to guide them to become what's better than the current situation. And for me, that's a very fulfilling thing to do. In terms of my own personal growth, I will be looking at expanding STEMSEL Foundation to my home country, which is Malaysia. So I'm starting a STEMSEL club over in Penang specifically, so that the students there could have the opportunity to learn about technology and engineering when they are at a very young age.
Thank you. Just like to ask Jeff whether he would like to say a few words in regards to his embrace in STEMSEL.
Thank you, Pastor Brenton. First of all, I'm one of the counsellors that showed here. And the reason why I've embraced this is because we have a series of miracles being performed at the show every year through our young people. Fernando was right all the way along. We met in probably 2009, 2010, just by a simple sticker on the floor. And that was a miracle, a chance miracle. We've also had this wonderful building here of Goida, and we were performing in the Goida Pavilion here, and we had to do something right and good, and we had to do something that was going to enthuse the public. So we went with robotics. And of course, Ping and Miro came along, and they helped us out with a lot of things, and of course it's grown from there. But the series of miracles doesn't end with that. It's just the beginning, because the miracles come from the young people of today, as you've heard. And they are getting skills now for the 21st century, and they are locking in to the skills now that probably were taught to 21-year-olds at university. And those skills are so important because in the changing world that we see at the moment, those skills are going to be vital to make those miracles happen in the future. But along with that is the attitude and the social enterprise that we talk about, which makes the STEMSEL story so powerful. The powerful part is not so much doing STEM, which is simply science, technology, engineering and maths, but moreover it's about the social inclusion, the social enterprise, the economics of the solution, and all those things that make an invention work from sitting on a bench, on a shelf, in someone's shed, and being useful in society. That's the most powerful message that an invention can give. And if young people can embrace that, and they're being taught that at a young age, they will be the captains of industry in the future in many, many ways. So I've talked this to F1 in schools. I've taught the same message to STEMSEL. It's exactly the same thing. Different formats, but the thing is the interest is there because the students are being involved with the social enterprise and creating a better world for them to live in and us to live in too. So, Pastor Brenton, that's where the message of the show is all about. We're seeing just a small amount at the moment come through, but more will come later with more people doing work with STEMSEL in schools.
Thank you. Just pass on to the director now of STEMSEL, Peng Chu, just to say a few words about his journey and his fundamentals of stem cell and why it's important to him to embrace stem cell into the community.
Thank you, Pastor Brenton. I know we probably have just another 5 minutes on this session. And the key thing that, having been here about 6 years now, that is truly a journey of revelation, is evolution. You couldn't expect a technology showcase to turn into a social enterprise program. And as you hear the journey a little bit already, we have judges that have different experiences. And so I couldn't expect a story to be captured by a book. And thanks, Nkandu. But really, the biggest change that I've witnessed over the last 5 years is the MC himself, Pastor Brenton from Uganda. So I'll just introduce him briefly as to why he makes such a big difference. For instance, I would have spoken to hundreds of people over the last few years. But I think in the same short period, Pastor Brenton's story touched so many people in terms of using science for empowerment. And he would have, in the short period of time, spoken to the same number of people who probably are more interested to hear his story than mine. So in a nutshell, before I pass you back to Brenton to explain a little bit, is the bottom line of why we're here, thanking from the bottom of hearts the Royal Adelaide Show for being so generous to give us a space, as well as the very nice prizes to fly the winners overseas, which cost a lot of money, is that I would like this to end up with an integration program that would capture skills, jobs and money. And I think that's what we need here in times like this, in terms of Holden living and so forth. So that's my big dream. If we can continue the journey together. Of course, we then have John Phillips from Sydney as well, come all the way. He's obviously a key person here in terms of STEM because of the limited time. So I'll just pass it back to Brenton to have a say about his own embracement of stem cell. Thank you.
Thank you. I've come to Adelaide. I've been in Adelaide the last 8.5 weeks from Uganda. It's the first time back into Australia, and I've noticed some big changes, generational gaps, and science and technology don't seem to be fundamentals within the education system at the moment. The alarming thing I've noticed since being back and being at the show this year is talking to people about my story, talking about our triumphs and tribulations within Uganda. There's some children living in Uganda that are ages of 16 that have never seen a AA battery, which is quite alarming that the generation of technology has been stretched amongst the world. Coming to STEMSEL and meeting a lot of supporters of STEMSEL has also given myself encouragement to be a part of STEMSEL, take that STEMSEL concept back to Uganda and empower some young people from third world countries. Also, the time that I'm here, I'm also engaging in regional schools. There's been lots of feedback from schools throughout regional South Australia as to why they want to embrace the technology into rural communities to keep rural young kids on the land and to lower youth suicide, to keep them engaged into creating something for the future. Last night I went to a dinner with a few parliamentarians, and we discussed these actual issues. I asked the question, do we want to build a sustainable economic future for Australia, or do we want to train our graduates in Australia, export them offshore to create technology and then import the products? After saying that question, I had people staring at me with blank faces, and I found it very difficult to comprehend, because I love Australia as much as I love Uganda, but if we don't import and bring STEMSEL into schools now and into integrating kids and building that social breakdown within the school system now, then where do we go as Australians in the future when technology keeps moving but it's classed as an elective within the system? So embracing STEMSEL and being a part of all these people here today is an opportunity for me to learn as much as I can, take that back and start STEMSEL Sisters in Uganda, as well as implement STEMSEL into regional parts of Australia. Thank you. Yeah. Just pass it over to John Phillips to say a few words as to why the first time, it's your first time here, that's correct? So what have you understood from being here and embracing what you've seen of STEMSEL?
Yes, thank you, Brenton. My crusade is to improve STEM education as a whole in Australia, and it's by teaching science and maths in the context of technology and engineering that's important. It's not necessarily getting better scientists and better mathematicians. It's using the discoveries in a way that benefit all of us. And for that, you have to start teaching in context in schools. And STEMSEL is a perfect example of where that works. First, you have to excite children in science and maths. And what better way than to actually show how it's relevant in a social context. Now, it's also important for the national wealth and for employment, but how good is it that the kids have got a grounding in what's important? And that's why I support STEMSEL.
Thank you. Just pass it on to another judge here to share a little bit quickly about STEMSEL.
I've been involved in the world, making developed countries helping undeveloped countries. I think STEMSEL gives a great opportunity to do this. That's why I've supported it for many years. I want to go on.
Okay, thank you for listening to us sharing our stories about STEMSEL and STEMSEL Foundation, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
Thank you.